our session. We will get started here in just a couple of minutes. So you've got one last chance to go pop that popcorn real quick, get what you need, get comfy on the couch, and then we're going to get rocking and rolling. Good evening, all families, and welcome to our Tennessee Family Series. We are super excited that you are here with us for Session Three's All Things Academic Success. My name is Todd Cox, and I have the honor of serving as the Director of Student Advocacy and Family Experience here at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. And tonight I am joined by four wonderful folks who are here to share about the various departments and support services that their teams are a part of here at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Before we jump into questions and get started with the night, I want to go over how you'll be able to ask us questions during our panel. So as part of our panel, you will see that there is a Q&A button down at the bottom of your screen. That Q&A gives you the opportunity to ask us questions. So as you think of questions tonight around academic success, and the various departments that you hear about, I encourage you, send those questions to us in the Q&A. A couple of notes for the Q&A is make sure you only send a question once. We don't want other folks' questions to get lost. We're going to get to all the questions that we can, either out loud, verbally with our panelists or staff who are on the backside of our Zoom will be answering those questions. So just submit it one time for us. Will be great. And also, we want to make sure that we are staying with academic success tonight. We have got wonderful resources and tips and tricks that you're going to get to hear about tonight. And so we will really be covering all things academic success tonight. So with all of that in that Q&A feature, let's get started. So panelists, good evening. Welcome. We are super excited that you are here with us tonight. To start out, before we jump into the questions our families have, if you will tell us your name, tell us the department that you are with, and tell us a little bit about how you support students on Rocky Top. So Robin, we'll start with you.
Great. Thanks, Todd. Hi, everyone. My name is Robin Rambo Stanley, and I am here representing the Academic Success Center, which is comprised of academic coaching, and there are 18 of us. I'll share a little bit about that before I pass off the baton or the torch, so to speak. And then also the Vol Study Center, the other side of our house. So as coaches, we often get to share our excitement that we're already designated dedicated Vol Success Team members for every incoming Vol. So we are, like my colleagues, or Voleagues as I sometimes say, we are all Vol all the time. So we interact with students, engage with students through outreach, through emails, not too many, don't worry, but we want you to know that we are here for you, we care for you, and we want you to succeed. We definitely, as the Academic Success Center, are here and committed to providing the tools, the space, right, and the support to support you and collaborate with you to be successful in and out of the classroom. And how we do that is not only through coaching, which is usually one-on-one, 30-minute sessions, either by Zoom or in person. We also we field emails, texts, any way that someone wants to reach out to us, and we reach out to students as well. So it could be time management, right? Balancing life, and classes, clubs, getting involved, getting less involved, reaching out to professors. There could be resources on campus that we want to talk about, really anything and everything that you wouldn't be talking with your academic advisor, because I know that's going to be talked about later. So that's the curricular navigation that you will have with your academic advisor, or two, if you have another major or a minor, that would be your advisor. Or one stop, which is usually, if I think about emojis, it would be a dollar sign and a document, right? So tuition, cost of attendance, financial aid, scholarships. So anything under the sun that's on your head or your heart that's impacting your continued academic success or your personal well-being, then you could bring that up to your coach, right? At any time. The other side of our house is the Vol Study Center. That's often when there could be one class that's going sideways, right? I just can't get it. Wouldn't it be great if there was a Vol who took this class, earned a B plus or higher, and would sit with me for 30 minutes every week in order for me to walk through this and learn it in my way through a collaborative learning experience? Yes, we have that. It's called one-on-one study sessions through PLAs, peer learning assistants, and there are 200 plus classes that have that. So 300 of those 30-minute sessions are happening a week by Zoom or in person. The Vol Study Center is over in Strong Hall, and we coaches right now are over in Perkins Hall. So I just wanted to put that out there. Also, it's a free study space. There are free snacks. Let me repeat that again, free snacks and free refreshments, as well as free printing, 5 pages a day. It's also the hub of the supplemental instruction, which are group sessions, right? Led by a student who's taken the class before and earn an A. They also are trained as a supplemental instruction leader, and they lead those group sessions for those classes. If you're in the class, you would be welcomed, invited already to take part in those in the SI. So I think I have covered quite a bit of the Academic Success Center, but just know that we will be reaching out. Your designated dedicated coach will be reaching out to you by email before the term starts so that we can invite you to meet with us when you have the opportunity. Thanks so much.
I'm going to pop up and introduce myself after Robin. My name is Melissa
Yes.
Irvin. I work in the Division of Student Success, and I'm here representing undergraduate academic advising. So every student gets an academic advisor, and that work is actually located within your academic colleges. So it is embedded in either your college or your department where you're assigned a person to help you with your academic planning. So that's what I'm here to answer your questions about tonight. When you're thinking about who that person is that is going to help you navigate through your curriculum, whether it's through the registration process or whether it's a part of thinking about understanding how to meet the requirements that your department or your college has to complete their degree. That's what your academic advisor is there for and is a critical part of a student's academic success.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Ward. I'm representing the Center for Career Development and Academic Exploration. And our center does all things choosing a major, changing a major, part-time jobs, internships, full-time jobs, and helps students with preparation for graduate and professional school. On our team, you'll have access to or in the center, you may have access to people on several teams. The Academic and Career Exploration team helps the students who are choosing and changing majors with assessments, resources, classes, decision-making strategies. We also serve as the academic advisor, as Melissa mentioned, for students who are in the university college or coming into UT undecided. Then we have the career coaches, and those are industry-specific professionals who help coordinate the efforts of students and employers and faculty in particular industries. Then we have an employer relations team that serves to represent the university and the value of our majors, departments, degrees in the workforce. So they build connections with our local, regional, national employers to help build a bridge back to students to provide employment opportunities. So we host a number of fairs each year, including the part-time job fair, fairs, niche fairs by industry, as well as larger campus events. And we'll drop that in the chat as well.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. My name is Stephanie Kaplan, and I am here representing the Office of First Year Experience and Transition. And our role is largely centered around the onboarding of these amazing students coming to campus. So we deal with all things orientation related. That's your experience from the Vol 101 modules to getting here and doing Big Orange Welcome Week during Vol 106. So we have the new Vol experience that encompasses Vol 101 through 106. But we also support transition as well when it comes to students that are transferring from other universities into the University of Tennessee. So we deal with all things that come with that, as well as orchestrating the first year seminar courses. So we spearhead and lead the first year seminar courses as well as transition 201 courses.
Awesome. Well, thank you, panelists. We are super excited that you are here with us. We've got some questions starting to come in, so we are going to jump in. And so, Robin, I want to start with you. So, some of our incoming students and families may start hearing these words supplemental instruction. Can you kind of tell us what is that? What are those services? How can students engage in those services? I mean, how should families really be a part of encouraging their students to take those supplemental instruction opportunities?
Oh, great. This is great. It also allows me to add in some aspects that I didn't get to share earlier. So thank you for the question. Supplemental instruction is offered at many campuses, and every campus applies it and rolls it out in different ways. Ours has those embedded, which is awesome, right? Embedded in the course itself. So when a student is taking a course, oftentimes they're in high demand courses where students are finding it beneficial, right, and necessary, and really get the benefit of having a group session, right? So, and we don't, right, because it's complementary, it's part of being a Vol, that the Vol Study Center offers all of these features, these benefits for all Vols, that you can take advantage of it of all of them, right? So if a chemistry or a science core or an engineer or accounting or something, right, is offered through supplemental instruction, you usually can see that through Vol Connect or your My UTK, and Canvas. You see that as another course. It's a course, I call it a course within a course, meaning it makes it a little smaller. It's like a structured group study session, right? But it's led by a student who took that course, earned an A, and is sitting in it. I may have forgotten that part, is sitting in it and listening to everything and not hearing, right, what's not being right, and they are leading that group session. Usually it's once a week. There also are what are called review rallies, so be on the lookout for review rallies as well, because they're offered through the SI, the supplemental instruction. So it really is a group session. It's structured like a class. It's led by a student who took that, like I said, and is leading it again. And students usually find benefit by being in person. There are some options to use the Canvas. We've added in the extra where there are pre-recorded and available Canvas sessions, but in person is often the most beneficial. So, and ways to sign up for it, you can find it through the Vol Study. If you just go to Vol Study Center, the website, you can see the different options for supplemental instruction, how it's embedded. You can click on the link because it's tied to your instructor, the class and your instructor. Yeah, each class that has the supplemental instruction has that available. You can also see the how to sign up for. Let me just add this in there because I want to. And I need to. For the one-on-one sessions, same thing. You can look for when would be available. Do I want to do it by Zoom? One-on-one sessions usually are in person and by Zoom. We recommend being in person, particularly if it's something like a math or science, something like that. So the other option is Vol Study. It's a new option, right? It's Vol Study 24/7, and it's offered an online platform that students can zoom in, right? Jump in at any time and meet with a person, right? An expert about that topic. So that's also on the Vol Study Center website.
Awesome. Thanks, Robin. A great breakdown of all things supplemental instruction. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Melissa, I want to throw it to you now and kind of do a little advising 101 real quick. So tell us, how do students get connected with their advisor? How can they find their advisor? And what do advising appointments really look like for a student as they're kind of picking out what their academic journey is going to look like?
Sure. Thanks, Todd. We're really proud of the academic advising network that we have built out throughout our colleges and departments. Each one of those colleges has a team of advisors that are assigned to specific academic majors. So your advisor may be responsible for just one major, like biology, or might be responsible for meeting with students that are across a couple of different majors. So the assignments happen based off of that breakdown, as well as some advisors doing specialty work with students in honors programs or transfer students or pre-professional students that might be looking to go into, medical school or law school. Once you go through your new student advising process that happens this summer as a part of an orientation, your advisor assignment is visible within your Vol Connect portal, which is your student success portal, which shows you all of your assigned Vol Success team members. And those Vol Success team members, as Robin mentioned, are a part of the actual human beings, so the people that are assigned to you as direct support resources for you in your time in your first year. So being able to sign right in and see that person, and then being able to reach out to them to schedule an appointment through that same Vol Connect portal. We also make sure that at the very beginning of the semester, we send out communications to all of our first year students, and you will get a personalized note, not only from your academic advisor, but your academic coach during those first few weeks of the semester that says, "Hi, my name's Robin. I'm your academic coach, and here's what I do, and here's how I can help you." And then that next week, you'll get a message that says, "Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm your assigned academic advisor, and here's how I can help you and what I can do for you." So not only do we put that information within our technology systems, but we also do some outreach at the beginning of the term to make sure that you know who those people are, complete with their photograph right there in that email so that you're able to recognize them. And most importantly, respond when those individuals send you emails, because those emails have a lot of important information about how to contact them, important deadlines, requirements that you need to meet as your time during a student. So those emails will be a part of scheduling those meetings that Todd mentioned as well. All of our first year students are required to meet with their academic advisor twice. So once in the fall and once in the spring. And once you get past that first year, as we expect and anticipate all of our first year students to do, you will then, from your second year on, be meeting with your academic advisor, required to meet with them once a year. Of course, we know that if there's something that you need and support that you reach out for, that you always have access to schedule appointments with your advisor. So those meetings are scheduled to be typically about 30 minutes is the average appointment length. And really, it's about a collaborative relationship between you and your advisor. So your advisor is expecting your student to come in with questions, to come in to be able to articulate, "These are my professional goals. Here are the concerns I have. Here are the commitments that I have." For example, if you already have a job, if you have caregiving responsibilities, if you are a part of Greek life or a student athlete, and all of those things impact your ability to build out your schedule. Those are all things that your advisor is going to expect a student to come in, be able to articulate. And then that advisor walks through what the requirements are and their recommendations about how to build a schedule, and also how to plan out the next 4 years of taking courses in a way that is going to create the best academic experience for you and maximize that personal and professional development that's so important to your academic success and your success after graduation. So really, the thing I want to leave you with, that relationship with your advisor, it is a partnership where the advisor is bringing information, but then also the students are expected to actively participate, thinking about their questions, their concerns, thinking about their goals, their dreams, what they're excited about, so that that person can actively support and advocate for them, both in the meeting and outside the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Melissa. Especially, advisors are partners there with students. I love that you kind of closed with that because that's such an important partnership there for our students and their success. So thank you for sharing about that. Stephanie, I want to throw it over to you now. Um, so we had a question come in about their student is working on all these Vol 101 through Vol 106 and trying to make sure they're staying on top of 100 series is, what all that entail, all of the great things that have to do with Vol 100.
Absolutely. Great question. So Vol 101 through Vol 106 is a series that's built to help students get acclimated to campus, but also to be successful as they continue to track through this first year. So Vol 101 is going to be focused on the modules that are going to get students acclimated to the campus resources, get you associated with your dining plan and what all comes with that, get you familiar with those offices that are going to help you be successful when it comes to your time here at UT. So Vol 101 is going to be a required module series that students should take and complete before the first day of classes. It's something that you can start and stop, but you'll definitely want to ensure that these are done before the first week of classes. So you've kind of gotten this module series once you've confirmed your orientation, and you're able to just kind of migrate through them at your own pace and at your leisure. Vol 102 is going to be focused on your new student advising appointment, and that's going to be whether you come to campus for Vol 103 or have come to campus for Vol 103, or whether you decided to do that online in a virtual module. A lot of times the advising is going to be based on what your college provides, so make sure you are tapping into your portal to ensure that you know how your advising session will be provided to you. Vol 103 is going to be the on-campus experience, which is optional. So if you did not have a chance to come to Vol 103, or if you didn't opt into it, you're totally fine. It is optional. We also have student tours that are done throughout the year and throughout the summer months as well, to still allow students to get acclimated to kind of coming on campus, becoming more aware of where offices and dorms and buildings are located. So there's still plenty of opportunities for you to take part in that if that's something you seek. Vol 103 options to like opt in to come to the on-campus experience are winding down. So if you are interested in doing that, you would have to email firstyear@utk.edu to see if there's any availability still open at this time, but most of the dates have closed out. Vol 104 is going to be our big orange welcome. So this is going to be once students come to campus, they're here, they're settled in, they're moving in. This is going to be focused on your first 6 weeks. So we really center this around like 6 weeks of welcome. There will be over 600 events that students will be able to engage and participate with. It'll be a little bit of everything, catered to academic success opportunities, career opportunities, social events, any and everything that you can think of. You'll find something for you within those Vol 104 Big Orange Welcome events. And then when we move into Vol 105, that is going to be the first year seminar course. So this course, all incoming freshman students are pre-registered for this course, or they are registered for the course within their advising appointment. So most students will see an FYS class on their schedule, but then we have some that are associated with colleges such as business, the Haslam Business School, and also nursing, for example, or music, who do their own FYS equivalent class. So if you don't see FYS particular, you may see BUAD 100 or your nursing specific coded course on there. There are some colleges that do their own FYS affiliated in specific course. This course is going to be a course that is developed to help you, again, be successful as you're transitioning from high school to college. And as we like to say, help you kind of do college the right way. With this, you're going to be provided resources. You're going to be provided opportunities to engage with things such as SI, supplemental instruction, getting to know your advisor and your academic coach. We are going to be very detailed and specific with providing you with assignments, opportunities, and in-class discussions to get you familiarized with these opportunities and offices that support you as the student. So that is what first year seminar in Vol 105 is going to be about. It's a 1 credit hour class that all students will take. And yes, it's mostly done in the fall semester. Now, if you are a transition student, there are some opportunities for you to take that in the spring as well as the fall, but this course is definitely going to be geared towards ensuring your success here at UT. Vol 106 is going to be our Vol Start Back series. Now, this is for fall students only. This is going to be done at the beginning or as spring semester is approaching. So, students will receive an email at the end of the fall semester talking about Vol 106 and Vol Start Back. And it will be a series of events to help students get reacclimated back to campus after a good, long, and healthy break.
Awesome, Stephanie. Thank you so much for breaking those down. All great events, all great ways to connect. And so I appreciate you sharing those. We did have a question come through I wanted to throw to you real quick before I let you go. Is for our transfer students who aren't going to be first-time students, what all of those should they participate in? Are they required to do? What does that look like for our transfer students?
Absolutely. Great question. So, transfer students will have all of the things that they are required to participate also come to them via email. A lot of the opportunities for transfer students are going to be optional, but highly encouraged for these students to opt in as well. As we all know, UT can be a very big campus, and sometimes just knowing where services and certain offices are can be just overwhelming. So, which is why we kind of cater our transition to a one class to these students, knowing that they've had some college experience before but still really helping them get the resources and tools that they need to continue to track successfully here while they're here at UT. There'll also be some specific events that are listed for transfer students when it comes to the Ball Start Back series, but also within the Big Orange Welcome, where the 600 events are laid out amongst various offices on campus. So students will be able to visibly see, excuse me, what opportunities may be geared specifically to transition students. But again, all of our events are going to be geared towards first year and transition students.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie, for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Jenny, I want to throw it to you now. Students are going to start hearing about this thing called Handshake. Tell us, what is Handshake? What do students do with that platform? How can students engage with it? Break down all things Handshake for me.
Yes, I apologize that my video isn't working. I use this computer all day as technology sometimes likes to throw us a curveball. So Handshake is the system we use for part-time jobs, internships, full-time jobs. It's how we communicate through students each week. In industries through industry specific newsletters that alert them to opportunities, upcoming events, that could be appealing to them. So students will get access to Handshake in August. They'll be introduced to it in the first year studies course or BUAD 100 course, whichever first year course they're enrolled in. So we'll get them in that system. We teach them how to look for part-time jobs and internships. And then they will begin to work on their profiles and understand the functionality of that system. But it is the marquee system we use to communicate all of our career related opportunities. So I know there was a question about part-time jobs, and I'll address that just while I have the floor. Many students do access Handshake for their first part-time job on campus. We host a part-time job fair every August in our ballroom with on-campus and local area employers. So if that feels like the right time for your student, they could certainly walk through the event, get to know who's hiring. It's a really informal opportunity for students to access employers. If they prefer to wait, Handshake has a part-time jobs collection indefinitely, so they can always log in and click the part-time and on-campus positions and see what's available. But they will hear about Handshake. If you have a student who is not a first-year student, encourage them to be on Handshake, update their profiles, read those newsletters to find out what's happening and what they should be accessing when they return to campus this fall.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny. A really great platform. That's how we hire the students who work for us on campus. And so, really great platform. Definitely encourage students to go ahead, be looking at that, getting used to that platform and using that. So I appreciate you sharing about that. Melissa, I want to throw it back to you because we've had a family member who heard a little bit while they were here for Vol 103 about this thing called the Course Program of Study. Can you break down as we call it, CPOS? So, can you break down what CPOS is and how it really impacts the classes a student may take, their academic progress, anything you may want to share about how that can impact aid? Kind of give us the CPOS 101 for us real quick.
Sure, Todd. So, courses towards program of study is actually related to ensuring that your student keeps access to all of their federal financial aid. And so, what that rule basically means is that a student must take courses that are counting directly towards their major requirements in order to use federal financial aid or state financial aid to pay for those courses. So during academic advising appointments, a lot of the conversation will be focused on how to make sure that building out that schedule for that upcoming term is focused on being a full-time student with required courses for your major. Full-time enrollment for our purposes as undergraduate students will always be 12 credit hours. So the goal is to get 12 credit hours of academic coursework that is counting directly towards your major. So if you're a psychology major and it says specifically that you need to take general psychology, then you have to take that specific course. And by enrolling in that specific course, you're ensuring that your financial aid can be applied to cover the cost of that course. When you take courses that are maybe an elective course where you have interest that doesn't show up as counting towards a requirement in your major, that is when you will get feedback from our friends in One Stop and financial aid saying, hey, you do not have a full schedule of applicable CPOS or courses towards program of study coursework. So part of what your academic advisor will work with you with, especially during this first year, is making sure that you understand what those academic requirements are for your major so that that becomes the focus of your enrollment and of your academic planning.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. A really great breakdown there. I appreciate you sharing that because I know folks can hear those words and see that acronym and not quite know what all that means, but that's really helpful for our families to know. So thank you for sharing about that. Robin, I want to throw it back to you now for our next question. And so you mentioned a little bit and kind of went a little in depth about the Vol Study 24/7. But this is something that students are really going to be seeing a lot of, especially as they start using Canvas here soon for their classes. Can you just tell us a little bit more about what Vol Study 24/7 is and the resources that offers for students?
Sure. Because we recognize that everyone, not only do we all have different learning styles and for different topics and disciplines, but also our time commitments, right? We were talking about that life is what life is, and we will run with it. And we offer learning support in such a variety of ways around campus. So let me also give a shout out right to the Writing Center, right to the Math Place, to chemistry learning centers everywhere else. So Vol Study 24/7 is this great online platform that students can jump into, right? Of course, you have to put in some identifiers, right, in order to access and some information about the course or the topic or the content, right? The course specific support that you're looking for, and you will then be paired with an expert in that field, right, who is trained, licensed, and we often don't use the T word, I will say tutor, because it's kind of an outdated model of a collaborative learning experience that we talk about. So those can be different sessions at different times of the day, and it is by Zoom. It's an online platform. If you want to read more about it, not only is it on the site, but the company is called BrainFuse, but we connect with BrainFuse in order to offer this to students so that at any time of the weekend, the weekday, the evening, a student can get answers to the questions they have about a course specific topic. From what I understand right now, there might be some some limitation on the number of hours per course. And I think it has to do, we're still learning more about that, but I think it has to do with the availability, right? The expectation that someone would be available for a very specific engineering course, right? Does that make sense? So the matching of those courses and building it out with BrainFuse. So I'm learning more about this as it rolls out, but I have already collaborated with students because one of the things we also do is I don't know if I specifically mentioned about study skills and strategies and working and Clifton strengths. And there's just so much about academic coaching I want to rave about and encourage you to take advantage of. But this Vol 24/7 is really another way to connect with an expert in the field that you're attempting to learn more, earn better grades, those kind of things. So yes, I hope I answered some of that. It does take a few clicks, but very quickly you can jump into a room that is for you and that expert in the field to get answers. Yeah.
No, great breakdown, Robin. That really kind of helped solidify, I think, what some folks are wondering about with the Vol Study 24/7. So thank you for sharing that. Stephanie, I want to throw it back to you because you mentioned about how first year students will be taking this FYS 101 course. What can they expect in that course and what all entails in that course? And what are they really going to leave that course with at the end of their first semester?
No, great question. Students are going to get just a wealth of everything in that course that it pertains to just getting acclimated and settled here on campus. They're going to talk about their Clifton strengths. We are a strengths-based campus, so they are going to get to know what things really just resonate with them and speak to the individual that they are without even saying anything. So we love that Clifton strengths is a main focus into the course and a big part of kind of their introduction here at the university. They will also talk about their well-being. We'll focus in on academic success and academic resources. Again, this course is going to be an opportunity to position them in front of that Vol success team. They're going to be positioned with a peer mentor. All of our FYS 101 classes have a student leader component within the course. There will be a student that leads a Life at UT segment, which is geared directly towards our students and really getting them the information a lot of times that they really want to know. It's going to focus on when's the right time to do your housing application. They're even going to talk about fun things of like, when can you get football tickets? When's the best time to like opt into these different service learning opportunities? So FYS is built truly to be a support system and a guide for the students. Along with academic success, we're going to talk about financial wellness. They'll kind of get in tune and tap a little bit into knowing a little bit more about how school is paid for, maybe things that are within their own portal that they may need to ask more questions about or just seek a better understanding of. It's really going to give them a good foundation of all things that come with coming to college. That peer mentor is going to be a great asset to the students. It's also an opportunity for students to kind of transition into the peer mentor role themselves after their first year. So this is going to strategically also position them with a cohort of like-minded students. We're really diligent with the way that we auto-enroll and populate students into the courses. The course that they will be in or the specific section will be filled with students that are within their same major or same discipline to really provide them with community early on. So FYS is going to be something that is not ultimately grueling for students, but definitely something that they're going to leave with a wealth of information. It's going to kind of drive in and reiterate some of the things that they learned about that the module spoke about in Vol 101, but we like to say it's really going to cement these things with them and definitely provide opportunities, resources, and just like a toolkit that students will always be able to refer to and use as they continue to matriculate from year 1 through year 4 or 5.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. As someone who has taught that class, it's an absolute blast. And so I appreciate you sharing what
Thanks,
students can
Todd.
expect in that course. Jenny, I want to throw it back to you. And so you all do a whole lot of events where students are going to get to connect with employers from all across the country. Can you break down what these kind of career fairs and different events look like for our students and all of the different ways they're going to get to start engaging with folks from really day one that they arrive on campus?
Yes. So the part-time job fair is the first fair we hold in August. So August 25th. Again, that'll be in the ballroom, and that will be a really informal come as you are event where students can connect with employers on campus as well as in the community. So if a student is just interested in knowing who's hired on campus, this is a great first fair to get your feet wet. Then we do host a majors fair in September. And so we will heavily market it through Stephanie's first year experience courses. So students really get a bird's eye view of all of the academic colleges, departments, and majors. They can ask representatives from theirs, or if they have questions about courses or ways to get involved, they can ask questions there, or they can just surf around and see what else is out there if they just want to know what's available, if they're thinking about a minor, if they're thinking about a double major, or if they're one of the hundreds of students who are entering this fall who are exploratory. So the Majors Fair is another big event for first year students. And then throughout the semester, there will be some niche fairs that are in partnership with our colleges based on typical recruiting times, and then some large scale events as well. So most students will intern after their second year on campus once they have completed some coursework within their major. Many students have great connections and networks and may participate in some valuable experiential learning their first semester. So we encourage that. If a student has a research connection, or if they have an opportunity to intern with a family friend or someone in the community, that is certainly encouraged, but many of our students will start to participate in fairs in their second year when they're actively looking for internships. Professional practice in the College of Engineering is available for students who are pursuing co-ops, which is a very common practice in that college. But students will be getting messages through Handshake and through other departmental newsletters along the way. So as long as they're reading their email and they're checking for signs around campus, they'll start to see the messaging about the fairs that are offered and ways they can connect. And then you've heard a lot from Robin and Stephanie about the academic success coaches, and Melissa too, and the academic advisors, first year studies instructors, and the career coaches are really another important part of the Vol success team. So the career coaches are really going to help students with that internship search. So when they're ready to get some experience, they can sit down with an industry specific coach and find out who's hiring my major. What should my resume look like to be competitive for an internship in this field? What events should I be going to? Maybe I want help with a practice interview. So they can really provide a lot of one-on-one guidance to support that career development. So I really want students to be thinking anytime they hear the question, what are you doing with that major, that they go to Vol Connect, they look at the career center team, and they find their coach and begin to start to plan to answer that question.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny. I appreciate that breakdown. All great events that take place and all great resources. So thank you for sharing more about those. Melissa, I want to throw it to you, and I know you've been typing in some of these answers, but also want a chance for you to be able to talk a little bit about it. And that's when a student decides, hey, I think I may want to change my major while I'm here. And that we have a lot of students who do that, that they find a passion and something a little different than what they initially may have picked. What does that process really look like? And, for our families on the call, how can families really help support their student when they may decide they want to change their major or shift what that kind of initial academic plan looked like?
Of course. There's actually a lot of great resources and conversations between both our academic advisors, again, within the departments and the colleges, and Jenny Ward and her team as a part of the Center for Career Development and Academic Exploration. So I think the first recommendation that I would make is reaching out to the academic advisor of that brand new program that the student wants to move into, to set up a time to talk about what does it mean for my existing credit hours to move into this new program. All academic majors have different requirements that are mapped out. So one of the first things you want to make sure of and have a conversation about is, if I've already completed these classes, how many of these classes can continue to apply towards this new program, this new major that I would like to pursue? I think It's also really important to have conversations about what are those personal and professional outcomes that we're thinking about, what's driving us to change majors into another program. It's not unusual to hit a rough patch in a particular major and maybe really struggle with a course and not be able to get past a specific requirement. But we want to make sure that we're picking the right types of majors that align with the personal and professional goals that a student has, and not sort of being in a moment of feeling overwhelmed and reactive to change a major. And that's when the great support of the academic exploration team really comes in handy to really sit down and talk about, how am I making this choice? What is this coming? Where is this coming from? How do I understand that, I have this goal, I want to work in this space. So what does that mean for what I need to study? Are there other options for me in terms of programs other than this one major to get to this same goal? To think differently about how to move from a strengths-based and asset-based framework where we're thinking about what our skills are that we're bringing to the table to make our choices instead of coming from a place of concern or overwhelm. We really want to reframe things from a perspective of thinking about what do you do best, what are you strongest in, and what's going to help us to reach the goals that we have. So not only do you have the opportunity to think about the planning part, how to use those courses, how to map out how I can still graduate in a timely manner, but also through the coaching support, have someone you can sit down and talk to make sure that you're making an informed decision so that that transition is still aligned with the goals that you have professionally. So there's both the business side of it and the developmental side of it that we want to make sure that you have the resources to support that to make the best decision for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. All great advice. As somebody who may or may not have changed their major a few times when they were in college themselves, this is all great advice and great resources here. So thank you for sharing about those. Stephanie, I want to throw it back to you because you talked about this thing called Big Orange Welcome. And all of us on the call know how much of a great time and how many cool things go on during those 6 weeks, but our families may not. So tell them about what all the different events and programs, initiatives, and stuff that go on during that, and what all is offered to their student during Big Orange Welcome.
Absolutely. Big Orange Welcome. I don't know if it's a more fun time for the students or for us as a staff. I mean, it's so fun to have everyone kind of get just reacclimated and energized about all the things that are going on campus. This is the time where students are going to get associated with, again, offices, clubs, organizations. There are going to be hundreds, and I mean hundreds of events that are pushed to students at all times of the day. There's going to be different things where breakfast is provided. There, that students will be able to come by and visit offices, grab a chicken biscuit from Chick-fil-A. They'll be able to engage with, again, knowing who their Vol Success team. They'll be able to knowing where the Career Center is, where certain offices like, oh my goodness, I'm thinking about just if they ever needed like medical attention, things like that, things that students kind of don't are not kind of going to initially or may think they don't have a need for at this time. We're going to find an opportunity and a way to position it in front of them so that they can get familiar with these offices and know all of the resources that are available to them. It's a lot of fun things. It's a great fun time. So we blend the mix of fun and informational by providing these events to students again at all various times of the day and throughout the first 6 weeks. So there is always going to be an opportunity for students to kind of jump in and get to know any office that they're interested in or any resource and familiarize themselves with any tools that they may need. These events are put on by all of our offices. It's a combination of the Division of Student of Life, the Division of Student Success. I mean, there are going to be any and every office you can imagine on campus kind of comes together as one to bring these events to students soon as they get here.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephanie. Would also agree. I don't know who it's more fun for, all of us or the
I
students.
know. Students, you'll
It's
see us hanging out. I'm just saying, we'll be out. We want to meet you. We want to get to know you guys and let you know we're here to help.
absolutely. I mean, we may or may not be handing out milkshakes on, the first day of classes, Big Orange Welcome. Little plug here for the families if they can say they heard. There's a milkshake for them on day one right outside the student union. So thanks, Stephanie, for breaking that down. A lot of great stuff that I know we're already all excited about that'll be here before we know it. Um, Jenny, I want to throw it back to you because we've had some questions come in that is always super important information for folks whose students may be eligible for work study. Can you talk about, for those who are looking for employment through work study, what this process may look like, how it may be different, similar to looking for a job if they weren't work study, and what important details they should know?
Yeah, that's a great question. Federal work study is really a part-time job that's financed by your aid. So you must be eligible for a federal work study position on campus. So the link will get dropped into the live chat here in just a moment, and you'll be able to check with One Stop to understand whether or not you are eligible for federal work study. So all of the jobs that are federal work studies specific are in a special system that you can access through One Stop. All the other paid part-time jobs on campus are in Handshake. So that's an important distinction. Ideally, we'd like those to all be in one system, and we're working on that, but there are some rules around federal financial aid that make that a little bit trickier. But it is certainly good advice to find out if you are eligible for federal work study positions. Check with One Stop, use the link here. And then if you're interested in that part-time job, as soon as you have access to Handshake, you'll be able to search. If you want to attend the part-time job fair in August, you can do that. You can also call our office or come by our drop-in hours with our peer career advisors, and they can help you navigate the Handshake system and talk to you about some options on campus this fall.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing about that, Jenny. Great information there for those students. Robin, I want to throw it back to you and really kind of lean into some advice maybe you can share with our families. So, we know families are sometimes the first ones, many times actually, getting those texts of, hey, I'm having a hard time in a class. And so, what advice would you have for families, how they can really encourage their student to go to office hours, to see a professor, to share about the resources when our families are potentially miles and miles away from their student? They can't just swoop in and fix it themselves.
Yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to reiterate and reemphasize that everyone is different, right? We're advocates for students to be authentic and in their and comfortable in your skin. And if reaching out to the professor, because that's usually the first person we would usually say, right? Is reaching out to the professor at office hours or the TA and requesting some time, some ideas, because we often say things that worked before, whether it's time management or a course specific learning a topic, what worked before may not be working now, right? And that works in terms of, we say that with regards to calendaring or prioritization, being intentional, but also how we learn a specific topic, or we're meeting the expectations of a professor. Oftentimes in college, right, there's deeper processing that's required, right? And the evaluation is for deeper processing. So we encourage students to, yes, reach out to professors and to TAs, but that may not have happened before, right? That it wasn't, it's not comfortable, you're not confident in it. So oftentimes that's the one time we say, well, if there's not someone in your circle of trust, right? Because you came with a circle of trust, and you're building that and you're building out your network, your coach is already, right? We were talking about the Vol Success Team. They're already on that, right? So we're designated and dedicated for any student to come talk about or Zoom in and talk about, well, what would be my approach? What feels for me to communicate this, whether it's a question about what's expected, a question about when something's due, a question about, or to talk about resources and getting connected on campus. So we would often say the professor, the TA, looking through the syllabus again and again and again, right? Revisiting what's expected of me, but coming and speaking with your coach almost immediately, right? As soon as someone thinks that course is going sideways, right? So some students will find, because there's no one path, right, to hike a mountain, to get up Rocky Top. There's no best, it's your right path, right? Your path is the right path. And it may lead to the Vol Study Center on your own. A student would go there, right? And we encourage that too. Go to the Vol Study Center, get signed up for one-on-one study sessions, or SI, find that in Canvas, get involved, go to review rallies, come see your coach. Whichever way that you walk around and hike this mountain, right? We're all Sherpas, right? Everybody you see on the call, everybody on campus. We're going to be guides and partners on the side, right? Collaborators with you to hike that yourself, right? And see all the vistas and achieve all the accomplishments. But essentially, we encourage as soon as possible to reach out and communicate, right? Whether it's about the course or about having to miss something, right? Life happens, or to communicate difficulty understanding what's expected or difficulty about the topic itself. So we can find resources everywhere. It's a big orange transition, as we say, right? It's a big orange place, and we will get you connected with what suits your scenario because everyone is different and every scenario is different. So go to the Vol Study Center, get those free snacks, free printing, free refreshments. It's great Vol vibes everywhere, but I definitely encourage you that it's free study space there and extra space to go study. So yes, I hope that answered. Really, everyone has a different path to getting finding how the course specific support would best suit them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Robin. I appreciate you sharing that. All great advice, I think, especially for our families, as they know about the resources and what they can tell their students and encourage them to really kind of take those steps, get with professors, connect with your department. All of those things is just great advice. So I appreciate you sharing that. Panelists, we are running out of time, and so I want to give you all the opportunity. We'll go in the same order as we did at the top of the session, but really just any closing advice, anything you want to plug for your department or the services you all offer, and ways that students can connect with you or the folks who provide the services that you've been talking about tonight. So I'm going to switch it over as well to a slide that's going to have all of y'all's wonderful contact information too. But Robin, I will let you start off.
Yeah, thank you. One of the things that I think I glossed over or missed, how you schedule with a coach. So there are lots of ways to schedule a one-on-one with your academic coach who will be assigned to you. There will be some invites that have buttons on them that you can follow through and schedule an appointment or a coaching session on your own through Vol Connect, which is the platform that students use and staff and faculty, right? It's called Vol Connect. So we encourage you to schedule on your own, even before our availability as coaches. There are 18 of us, and we're all Vol, as I say, and you can schedule with your coach from the very beginning, right? Before the term starts, we're going to introduce ourselves, and you'll have that. You can also email or reach out or call your coach, and we can schedule it on the back end, right? Or we actually have drop-in. We have designated duty where you can drop in to Perkins or reach out to the Academic Success Center, and you can get scheduled with a coach as well. Same thing with the Vol Study Center. You can schedule it yourself through Vol Connect. There's self-service options that you can walk through and schedule for yourself, whether it's SI or PLA, a one-on-one session. So look forward to look at all the different ways that you can connect with those who are here for your continued academic success and personal well-being.
I think my parting words about academic advising are really about the importance of building that strong relationship with your academic advisor and prepping your student to practice, talking about what their questions are and talking about what their goals are so that they can be an active participant in that meeting. So the advisor has as much information as possible to be able to give the best advice and the best recommendations in a way that is very personalized to what your student wants to accomplish in their time at UT. And then remember, you've probably heard this before, but it is important to check your UTK email. Advisors will use that as the formal way of conducting business with your student, whether it is sharing really important information about deadlines, whether it is sending information about how to schedule an appointment for that required meeting that they have to have before they can register for classes, or if it's about an amazing opportunity that might be presented around, undergraduate research or study abroad or paid internships or leadership opportunities within the department. That email from your advisor and being responsive to those and building that relationship is such an important part of maximizing your time as a student at the university.
And in these sessions, I always like to close by reminding the families and students, if you're on, that this is the only time in your life where there are so many systems and people in place designed to support your success. So take advantage. Families encourage the help-seeking behavior. Think a lot, like Melissa said, help them think a lot about preparing to meet with the advisors and the coaches and the career coaches and their FYS instructors. Ask them questions to reflect on their coursework and how things are going on campus. Many of them are very nervous about just basic life tasks, and then we top it off with what are you going to do with that major, and it's a really big question for students. So many of them are nervous about that question. Many of them think that everyone has it all figured out, and they really don't, and that's okay. It keeps us in business, and it has for a long time, helping students choose majors, change majors, access part-time jobs and internships, and really develop their own personalized career path. So encourage them, to just take a little time if they need it to reflect, to recalibrate, to use the resources, and any of the people here will get them on the right track, whether it's studying or advising or career development. We're here for them. So I think I would just close with that question. If they are asked, what are you doing with that major? What are you doing when you graduate? With plenty of time for that, but they can always schedule with a career coach to get the support they need to take the next step.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to echo my colleagues and just, we want the students to come to campus excited with an open mind and open heart, just like we are here again, here and happy to answer any of their questions and just to be an advocate and support for them in all ways. So know that they're coming to the right place. They're coming to a place that is truly going to support their growth and make this time as meaningful and memorable as possible in the best way for students. So I would also just close with just saying if any families or students have any more questions or just want to see exciting things pertaining to like orientation and the first year seminars, if you make sure to tap into our webpage, which is the first year at utk.edu, you'll see plenty of snapshots and video clips from fun things like Ball 104, Torch Night, and all the things that you can think of. So again, please use any of our emails. We're here and happy to help you guys and can't wait to see you on Rocky Top.
Awesome. Well, panelists, thank you all so, so much for joining us tonight. I am extremely appreciative of you taking some time on your Thursday night to get to chat with our volunteer families about all things academic success and the incredible resources and work you all do each day. I'm glad to get to do this work with you. So thank you all so, so much for being a part of our session tonight. So for our families, a few closing announcements before we call it a night with you is you will make sure you complete that survey. That helps us to make sure we are providing the best experience possible for you. Make sure Stephanie talked about those online orientation modules and all of that. Make sure that you are getting those done. Families, do those as well. You have access to those. Make sure you're completing those as well because you're going to learn a lot too from those and all the different resources on campus. If you haven't already, make sure you join our family association. That gets you access to all the different families on Rocky Top to build community with, information about all of the departments you heard here, and even more. And it gets you access to register for Vol Family Reunion. Well, we're having two of those this fall, and registration is open now. So make sure you don't miss out on that opportunity to come see your student. As well as information can be found here on the screen about summer send-offs. We've got alumni chapters all over the country that are excited to get to send your student off to Rocky Top and get to know your student and love on them as they get ready for this next chapter. So lots of great stuff here on the screen that'll also be in your follow-up email. We can't wait to see you all again here in just 2 weeks when we are talking all things leadership and engagement on Rocky Top. We're going to have that exactly 2 weeks from tonight. So that'll be July 9th at 7 p.m. So make sure that you join us for that. Vol families, it has been a pleasure to get to spend some of our Thursday night with you tonight. Thank you all so, so much for being a part of this. We are excited that you are part of our volunteer family as well. We can't wait to see you on Rocky Top soon. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend. Have a great next 2 weeks until we see you again. Have a great night and go.